folks, it's me, the Bee, and welcome back to another review. Okay, so John Carpenter's The Thing, made in 1982. Now, if Halloween were the study of subtlety and creeping dread that stays under your skin, The Thing is a study of excess and dread ripping out of your skin and consuming your entire being. To me, this is the culmination of a director, of a science fiction and horror director, doing the best work he's ever done. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not make that sort of statement very lightly. I too am a fan of Halloween. I love the stupidity of Jack Burton. I dig The Fog. I love myself some Snake Plissken. And you get the idea. John Carpenter's, most powerful period was the 80s, let's face it, because he was given the opportunity to basically do what he wanted and not really have to worry about, studio interference. Well, the knuckleheads at Fox, made, Big Trouble in Little China like a huge disaster for Carpenter, but the fact remains, when the man is given time to plan out and make the movie that he wants to make, that the guy is amazing. And The Thing is the ultimate experience of this. So let me tell you a little story. First and foremost, this does not necessarily relate to me, but rather to the experience of a friend. Now, my friend Melissa loves horror. She loves all sorts of horror. Ghosts, demons, vampires, the whole gig. Like, the lady is very well versed in the genre, and nothing really shocks her. So one night she invited me over for a little bit of a film party, and she said, bring over some DVDs and we'll watch them and talk and blah blah blah. So I brought The Thing because she told me she had not actually seen it. So that night I brought my little DVD over and we put it in, and this was Mel's expression when she saw the infamous dog sequence. You ready? That was the face of a girl who knows her horror. A girl who is not easily shocked or offended by blood, gore and torture porn and blah blah blah. Melissa was floored when she saw The Thing, and rightfully so. The Thing is basically the perfect storm of what makes the best science fiction and horror movie. Great characters, great writing, great setting, great music. The music by Ennio Morricone, amazing. You see, a lot of Carpenter's films have a very distinct sort of score. We know this, right? But when Carpenter hired Morricone to score The Thing, it was a masterstroke. It really, really was. And if I had to associate two words with what Morricone did, it would be grandiose isolation. Even though the setting of The Thing takes place in the wilds of the Antarctic, it's a very sort of claustrophobic sort of movie, and from frame one, there is a distinct sense of dread that is only going to get worse. And this film is not afraid to push the envelope. When it was made back in 1982, it was just so highly controversial because around about that same time, E.T. had come out. And E.T. was a lovely, optimistic family movie, and don't get me wrong, I too love E.T. But unfairly so, The Thing was reviled. It was like slapped like the red-haired stepchild and thrown under the stairs to, never be spoken about again. Like, it was very unfairly received. And it wasn't until VHS really took off that the film found itself a cult audience. And from there, the popularity just spread. It was a slow process, and when you think about it, it's kind of fitting because the way that The Thing has spread throughout history as a film kind of mirrors how The Thing itself in the movie was going to spread across Earth. It's interesting, isn't it? So we all know. Well, when I say we all, I mean people who love their horror. I don't think I have spoken to anybody who has not at least admired this film. It is unanimous. It is a widely appreciated, if not adored, movie. It's got itself a fantastic cast of characters. Kurt Russell as MacReady, Keith David as Charles, Wilford Brimley, Mr. Diabetes, as Blair. Like, it's got itself a great camaraderie of, very prominent character actors, and all of them play off each other incredibly well. And when you're making a story about isolation and paranoia and horror and just overall sense of uncertainty and nihilism, you got to have actors that the audience can relate to. MacReady is one of the ultimate anti-heroes. Like, he's not a bad person, but he's very solitary. He's solitary, but he also commands the respect of his fellow workers. But even he isn't above suspicion when it comes to this movie. One way or another, at the end of the film, everybody thinks each other is the enemy. That is how well this story works. Now, Carpenter originally was going to make this film earlier than he expected, but there was a drawback, and he was given time to actually go back and rethink the movie and plot it all out meticulously. That was one of the best happy accidents that ever happened to him as a director, and he took full advantage of that. The makeup by Rob Bottin, oh wow, 33 or so years on, this makeup holds up so well. It is grotesque, it is vile, it is repugnant, it is juicy and disgusting, and it is so great. There is a sense of visceral horror when you look upon his creations, and he also adds a sense of functionality to them too. When the Thing assimilates different life forms, it always manages to incorporate these things in whatever transformation it assumes. And not only that, in accordance to its survival instinct, the Thing is able to survive even when it's, detached itself from another part of its body. It's on a cellular level, it is the perfect survivor. And not only that, this is something I have noticed. The Thing is not just a survivor, it is also a tormentor. Think about it. Every single one of its forms is horrifying, but it's how the characters respond to these transformations that give you the notion that the Thing is taking conscious pleasure in causing these people distress. When Windows, feasts his eyes upon the one of the things that have transformed in front of him, like in the infamous blood test, one of the greatest sequences ever put on screen, he is like a deer in headlights. He is like a little bunny snared in a trap. And the Thing just, it takes its time to, let Windows look upon it and despair. It's like the Thing is saying, look at me, it's just so... that there really is, more malice under the surface than you could possibly imagine. And additionally, when the crew actually come across the Thing in its frozen form from the Norwegian camp, like, when they uncover it and everybody's there to look upon it, one part of its body is curled up in extreme agony, like, it's just like, it's experienced the worst pain possible. On the other side, it's almost as if the expression on its face is one of ecstasy. It's very, very demonic when you think about it. And even though this is not directly addressed in the movie, I also feel that the Thing is somewhat religious in some of its context. How do I mean by that? Well, mainly it is through what the characters say. There are quite a lot of mentions of God, Jesus, and, holy shit, or whatever. Now, that could easily be seen as a curse, but the usage of that word just... maybe it is just me, and maybe I'm looking way too far into this, but there's almost a sense of biblical associations with this movie. At one point, a character actually does say, pray, as in, there's really nothing else for us to hold on to, so you may as well, put your hands together, hold the back of your knees and kiss your ass goodbye. But, like I said, this is probably just me being very over-analytical, and that was more than likely not the intention of Carpenter. But I just wanted to say that. Now, I should also note, I've only read the original novel Who Goes There Once by John W. Campbell, and it is pretty good. It's very short, it's very effective, and that too had a sense of religious symbolism in there, but it has been a while since I've read it, so please don't directly quote me on that. So yeah, the thing, the thing is just, it is perfect. Well, not necessarily perfect, but to me it is pure. It is pure in its intentions. It's a very dark and very deep and very pessimistic film. When you are in such a, an apocalyptic sort of situation, all you can do is hope. And sometimes even hope will not save you. I am absolutely in love with this movie. Do I have any sort of necessary criticisms? Not particularly. I've seen some militant feminists say that this film could have benefited from some sort of female character, to which I say, no. This film isn't trying to make any sort of political or, sociological commentary beyond the idea that paranoia, runs within us all. Who we have here is perfect. Every single actor has a sense of relatability about them, especially Wilford Brimley as Dr. Blair. When he realizes the full scope of the situation, of the thing assimilating the rest of the world and causing global cataclysm, the guy goes nuts. He ruins the entire communication center, and Wilford Brimley knows how to choose scenery in this sequence. It is well done, Mr. Brimley. Well done. It's every single sequence in this movie is so aptly directed, and even though there is no limit to the gore factor, Carpenter still realizes that what makes true horror is not repulsion, but the unseen terror. What we don't see is what truly terrifies us the most. When we see it, as disgusting as it is, it takes away the sense of mystery, and the mystery is what makes us come up with a worst-case scenario. And I gotta talk about the ending briefly. The ending is... there is no other way this film could have ended. There is no other way that this tale could have concluded if it didn't have a happy ending. Like, a happy ending would have cheapened the overall effect of the thing. You can't have all this death and terror and chaos suddenly be all sort of sunshine, rainbows and unicorns. No. This film is about doom. It is about certain doom, and with the final line of Macready, let's just wait here, see what happens. That's just... the characters of Macready and Charles are going to die. It's just a matter of how. Is one assimilated and will try to assimilate the other? Are both human? And, will they succumb to their own sort of paranoid sort of sensibilities? Or will they choose to just freeze to death? It's just... oh, it's so bleak, but so brilliant. Yeah, I'm just... this movie has me in awe every time I watch it. So, 5 out of 5. The Thing, to me, is one of my favourite movies ever made. Not just science fiction, not just horror, but as a movie, as an overall experience, The Thing has it all in spades. I really cannot find a circumstantial, fundamental fault with it. Everything makes sense. Everything has a consequence. Every character, has a sense of story about them. So yes, The Thing, ladies and gentlemen. The Thing. Thank you. Oh!